Hello everyone and welcome once again to GSTEF TV, the home of the bold, the unexpected, and the stories that shake Nollywood from the inside out. If this is your first time tuning in, make sure you hit that subscribe button immediately, because what I am about to unfold will make your heart race, your mind spin, and your mouth hang open. Today's gist is not just hot, it is volcanic. It is burning through the industry as we speak, and those who were on that set today are still trying to recover from the shock. What unfolded between Maurice and Chinenye Nnebe over a romantic scene has now become one of the most intense behind-the-scenes dramas Nollywood has witnessed this year, and the details are spreading faster than fire through dry grass. It happened today on the set of a new romantic drama, a major Chinenye production designed to be a powerful emotional story filled with longing, confession, heartbreak, and vulnerability. The scene in question was supposed to be one of the highlights of the movie, a deeply intimate confession moment where the male and female leads reveal their emotional truth in a tension-soaked exchange. According to the schedule, the scene was set to be filmed in the afternoon, after the lighting crew crafted the perfect ambience and the director fine-tuned every moment leading up to the main emotional explosion. But nobody could have predicted that the fireworks would erupt behind the camera instead of in front of it. Chinenye arrived on set fully prepared. She had spent the morning rehearsing her lines with the script supervisor, adjusting her wardrobe, and mentally sinking into the emotional pool required for the confession scene. Crew members said she was the picture of calm focus, the kind of actor who comes ready, centered, and grounded. When she stepped onto the set, she carried the energy of someone who had already stepped into character. She was ready to shoot. She was ready to deliver. But Maurice was different today. He came to set with a weight in his spirit, a heaviness that the crew noticed immediately. According to people on ground, Maurice told the director he needed some extra time to emotionally sink into the mindset required for the scene. He explained that romantic confessions are delicate, sensitive, layered, and demand genuine vulnerability. He said he did not want to rush anything because if the emotion did not feel authentic, the entire movie would suffer. These were not unreasonable concerns, but there was a problem. He needed more time, and Chinenye had already been waiting. By the time the lighting was ready, cameras were positioned, extras were cleared from the room, and the set was quiet enough for the director to call the first action. Maurice still needed more time. He paced. He breathed. He sat. He stared at the floor. He stood again. He wiped his face. He talked to himself. He took longer pauses than usual. The director tried to remain patient, but the restlessness on set grew thicker by the minute. Chinenye kept watching him, trying to remain composed. But she had been ready for over an hour, and the tension of waiting while in an emotional state began to drain her. The crew members say she kept her calm for as long as she could, but the longer Maurice delayed, the more the energy in the room tightened. She eventually asked him if he was okay, and he nodded without explanation. But then he asked for more time again. That was when something shifted. According to an eyewitness, Chinenye finally walked closer to him and said in a calm but visibly strained tone, "You're overthinking it. Let's just shoot." She was not rude. She was not raising her voice. She was simply exhausted from waiting and trying to hold herself emotionally ready for a scene that kept getting delayed. But Maurice did not take it lightly. He stopped pacing, turned fully toward her, and said, "No. If the emotion isn't authentic, the entire scene will fall flat." The room froze. The camera crew exchanged glances. The lighting team paused. The director stepped in immediately, trying to diffuse the tension, but the air was already thick with unspoken frustration. Chinenye's face changed. Not angrily, but with disappointment. She told him she was not asking him to be rushed, but that everyone was ready, and the longer they waited, the more drained and less connected the emotion would become. She explained that sometimes the best scenes come when actors trust the moment rather than trying to construct it too carefully. Maurice disagreed completely. He insisted that emotion must be built, layered, and nurtured, not forced. He said he would not perform until he felt the genuine emotional trigger needed, and he did not care how long it would take. It was at this point that the disagreement transformed from a simple creative difference into something much deeper. Someone on set whispered that this tension had been simmering between them for weeks. That Maurice felt that Chinenye's speed and natural is sometimes overshadowed his more immersive process. That Chinenye felt that Maurice's method acting tendencies occasionally slowed down production unnecessarily. Whether or not any of this is true, today's clash seemed to confirm that there was something unresolved beneath their professional surface. The director intervened again, asking both actors to take a moment separately, but neither of them moved. They stood facing each other, not yelling, not insulting each other, but locked in a quiet, intense standoff where neither of them wanted to bend. It was the kind of silence that felt louder than an argument. The kind of silence that made the entire room uncomfortable. Eventually, the director had no choice but to call off the scene entirely for the day. The announcement dropped like a bomb. Chinenye turned away immediately, her jaw tight, her eyes focused on the ground. She walked out of the set without a word. Maurice stayed behind, still breathing heavily, staring at the empty space where the confession was supposed to happen. Crew members say the emotional weight in the room was unbearable. By the time the actors returned to their hotel later that evening, everything escalated even further. Sources say both of them went straight to their rooms, avoiding each other completely. No greetings, no eye contact, no acknowledgement. It was as if they were strangers. Some production assistants said they had never seen two co-stars disconnect so abruptly after spending the last 2 weeks filming intense scenes together. And then it got worse. Fans began noticing the silence online. No post. No behind-the-scenes videos. No playful clips. No interactions. For two actors known for their chemistry and friendly rapport, the sudden disappearance of their usual on-set energy started raising eyebrows across social media. Within hours, the fan reactions started pouring in. She and Maurice are definitely fighting. The energy is off. I knew something was wrong. Their smiles have not been the same. Why did he overreact? She was just trying to get the job done. Maybe she is too sharp with her words. He is a method actor. They don't like being rushed. This is the first time I am hearing of Chinenye clashing with anyone. Something deeper is going on. If they don't fix this tension, the movie will suffer. Not Maurice and Chinenye. Say it is not true. The director has reportedly called for a private meeting with both actors tomorrow morning to address the tension before it spills into future scenes. But people who were on set today are worried. They say the emotional disconnect between them felt too strong, almost personal, even though both actors tried to maintain professionalism. Some crew members even believe this disagreement might expose deeper creative differences or unspoken misunderstandings that have been quietly building for months. But nobody knows for sure. What is clear is that today's events left a deep crack in the harmony of the production, and if something is not resolved soon, the emotional scenes planned for later in the week may become impossible to execute. But here is the real kicker. Industry insiders claim that producers are already discussing what to do if the tension continues. Some are suggesting adjusting certain scenes. Some are proposing a temporary filming break. And a few are quietly panicking because the movie's entire emotional arc depends heavily on the chemistry between these two stars. For now, all eyes are on tomorrow's private meeting. Will they reconcile? Will they find common creative ground? Or will this clash continue to grow into something much bigger than a single scene? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, Nollywood is watching. And this gist is far from over.